Yeah, Meredith, would you like to share a little bit about what we have as an organization? Yes. So this is also Nick, one of our members. So Rachel, Nick, and I are here today just to represent our larger organization. We do have 75 members in our marching band. We are just about to kick off our concert band season. So we are very, very lucky and fortunate to have all of those fantastic members, many of whom are educators who are teaching band right now in their first period classes, or many of them are actually from all four corners of across the state of Iowa. So our representation today, we've got already between the three of us, I can't even count how many instruments the three of us play together, probably at least 10. But every single member within our organization just recently voted on our board of directors. So we officially have a board of directors now. We are a official 501c3 nonprofit here in Des Moines based, but again, we serve members across the entire state. We're an organization that is affiliated with Pride Bands Alliance, which is a national organization of performance ensembles across the country. There's Denver, Kansas City, Minneapolis, San Diego, New York Pride bands across the entire country. One of our members is actually a previous member of the Big Apple Corps from New York City.
Oh, I actually saw it 20 years ago in New York City. It was the first time I'd ever seen a Pride marching band, and this person is marching in that ensemble, and now for the ensemble. So
yes, magic. So within those 75 members, we have ages 18 to 66. So we have had a fantastic time getting to know everybody. It has really been what I would say the main feeling is just so much joy. And that's the focus of our organization. We want to have joyful performance for our LGBTQ Iowans and allies. What I have loved the most to see is that these Iowans that I'm meeting in this organization want to create a new community together. They're not just showing up and maybe, doing a little bit of something. They are showing up with their entire soul. So we have one more song for you today. This was our marching band set, but please stay tuned to look at more of our concert season. We're going to be doing a really exciting concert season with support like the First Friday Breakfast Club and our LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce friends. We're going to be able to program LGBTQ composers from Iowa and beyond to really fuel that feeling of community for our first concert. So I'd love for us to play our last song, which is Born This Way, within our marching band set. I walk in.
And just shared about this organization that was nothing more than a Google spreadsheet sign up form. And you all believed in us in a time when it was really just something that we were trying to get people excited about. And so thank you so much for believing in the struggle of this organization. We can't wait to show you our concert season and what a spring fling swing dance. This is what I absolutely in front of you there and maybe you tonight. At no shade to the Foley and Jazz Orchestra, one of our good friends who did all of the arrangements for us and doing the events of the organization. So, maybe we'll see you tonight. All right, we'll be around.
Good morning. Wow. Welcome to First Friday Breakfast Club. What a kickoff with the Pride Ensemble, Iowa Pride Ensemble. Yeah, well, I remember Rachel saying she wanted to start this, and you're thinking, wow, that's a little huge. She has come a long way in a very short period of time. But if you know Rachel, you'll understand that she doesn't stand still. I've joined protests at the Capitol, and she's out there with her megaphone going. So I'm Byron Huff, FFBC president. My pronouns are he, him. At this time, I would like to offer any new FFBC attendee to introduce themselves. I know we have some. Welcome. Others? I'm not staring anyone down right now, but so FFBC is a association of LGBTQ plus individuals and their allies, formed in 1996, is a 501c3 entity making your contributions tax deductible. Since formation, FFBC has awarded more than $550,000 for scholarships that are awarded annually to high school seniors who have done significant things in their schools and communities to reduce homophobia and educate about LGBTQ issues in their communities. We awarded a record $23,000 scholarships in our past June meeting. The scholarships are awarded regardless of gender identity, sexual orientation, or other protected characteristics. This is all thanks to many generous donors who recognize FFBC scholarships are important to help exceptional young students reach their higher education goals. So if you have not made a donation, you can now for our 2026 scholarships next June. We send 2 emails a month. So if you're not on our list, just send us a message or say something to someone. As long as there's little forms you can fill out up at the check-in desk too. And we'll add you. So we don't spam you. We don't share the list. So newsletter, the next copy deadline will be the second Monday prior to the next board or breakfast meeting, which will be September 22nd. Anyone is welcome to submit an article. And Wade Peterson will sometimes help. He does my articles a little bit, and I appreciate that. I was never a writer, but I think I've done okay. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, share posts so that more people learn about us. There are archives of the meetings on our website. We have a YouTube channel and so forth. Okay, announcements. I would encourage everyone to read our newsletter. Wade has done an amazing job. He's even solicited gay LGBTQ organizations to send their events to him so we can get them in the newsletter. And there's a lot. There's a lot going on. And it's a great place to look also. Excuse me. On LGBT or Capital City Pride website, just Google Capital City Pride Des Moines, there is an LGBTQ calendar. And I would encourage the ensemble, I don't know, Rachel, where she is now, but make sure they get their events out there as well. And we're trying to capture as many things as we can because there's so much going on. And now, Zach, would you come up and just make brief? Well, I just wanted the camera to be.
Oh, where's the camera? There it is. Oh, goodness. Dance a little bit. My name's Zach Russ. If I haven't had the chance to meet you, I'm the executive director for Iowa Safe Schools. Just wanted to give everyone a quick update. Our gala is coming up on October 3rd. It's a Friday. We'll have Jackie Cox from RuPaul season 12. We would love to see you all there. If you want to find me after, I can give you the link. Otherwise, we will send that out. The link just went live yesterday. So we're excited to have that again, Friday, October 3rd. And my name's Zach. If you want to stop and say hi after, I'd love to introduce myself and grab coffee sometime and learn more. But thanks for having me. So.
Well, their event is Friday evening. That's actually the morning of First Friday Breakfast Club. So, but our newsletter comes out before that, so I'm sure we'll have something in there about that. FFBC has traditionally had a table at that event, and it's very uplifting, I guess. Did anyone else? Wes, did you have something? Okay.
Two quick things just to make sure you're aware of them that are coming up. Leah Thomas, who is the trans swimmer who won the D1 competition several years ago at UPenn, is coming to town on September the 13th. It will be at Temple Theater, and we'll talk about trans athletes and all the controversy that's happened around that. So I think that'll be a really worthwhile conversation. And then we also just opened yesterday submissions that I would love for some of you to consider for our November storytelling event. This is like the Moth Storytelling Hour, if you're familiar with that. And we're opening this one to be like sort of popcorn, so any topic. And so if you're interested in sharing a story about your time, it could be about love or loss or just really almost anything about your experience as a queer person living in Iowa. Just email that, a draft of what you'd like to share, to education@capitalcitypride.org, and we'll be deciding on those on October 15th. So you have 6 weeks or so to put that together and send that in, right? Oh, to talk about the Capital City Pride with First Friday Breakfast Club. Are you already going to talk about this?
No.
Along with every other LGBTQ nonprofit in the area, is coming together for a community-wide celebration for Coming Out Day. So that'll be at the Mickle Center on Saturday, October the 11th. And that's at from noon to 3. It's like a picnic event. So that's on Facebook, and it's sponsored by all the local organizations. So it's easiest to find there.
Is that? Yeah. So that was in the newsletter. So yeah, like I said, if you have not at least perused it, you don't have time to read it, just scan through it. You'll find a lot of things going on. Let's see. Our next board meeting will be Tuesday, September 9th at 6:30 p.m. Members are welcome to attend if you'd like. So let me know. I can give you information. And now Deb Madison Levi will introduce our speaker this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Okay. A fifth-generation Iowan, father of 2 and a grandfather of 6. Carl Voss has lived in Des Moines since 1971. While beginning his journalism career in the city as a photographer and editor for the Des Moines Register, he got to know the issues that Des Moines residents face and became increasingly involved in civic activities. In addition to currently serving as Des Moines at-large council member, Carl served as an interim city council member from 2013 to 14. Before joining the council, he served on fundraising cabinets for community betterment projects and chaired the city's Transportation Safety Committee. That committee works to make streets accessible for all. Carl represents the City of Des Moines Metropolitan Planning Organization's Policy Committee. How do you do all this? The Des Moines Art Festival Board, the Blank Park Zoo Foundation, Invest DSM, and the Neighborhood Investment Corporation. Faith and family are a cornerstone in Carl's life, but his passions and work extend meaningfully to the City of Des Moines. Carl co-founded the Des Moines Bicycle Collective and led the initiative to install bike racks on all DART buses. He is a former board member of Friends of Des Moines Parks, but continues to work to improve neighborhoods through park and trail projects. With 2 sons who graduated from Theodore Roosevelt High School and grandchildren who attended Des Moines Public Schools, Carl is a proud resident working hard for all. He has volunteered his time and created service projects throughout the city. From demarked diaper drives, Boys and Girls Club mitten runs, to youth soccer fields, and the East Village Holiday Promenade. Oh, and notably, a retired pie judge for Ragbri in the Iowa State Fair. Carl and his wife, Susan, of 40 years, are longtime supporters of First Friday Breakfast Club and 2 of the First East Village residents, where they have resided for 25 years, all while promoting shop local and community building initiatives. As a founding board member of the historic East Village, Carl has worked since 2000 to create safe, walkable neighborhoods for residents, small businesses, and visitors. He brings his diverse experience to each opportunity and works collaboratively to reach the best solutions for Des Moines. Please join me in welcoming Carl.
A pleasure to be here this morning. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we get going. I'm not on the ballot this fall. The t-shirt that Deb is wearing, just for all of you Iowa State graduates, that's Mizzou black and old gold. So this doesn't have anything to do with Iowa. So, so the Pride Ensemble just didn't happen. Just a little backstory on this. Central Presbyterian Church, where I attend, we walked in the Pride parade. We were the last group in the parade. Oh, this is going to be like, the crowd's going to be dispersing by the time we get there. Well, we weren't really the last. We were right ahead of the Pride, Iowa Pride Ensemble. And like, holy crap, this is like, they really lifted up that crowd. And so I shot a few pictures because they were literally right behind us. And I walked over to the saddle and I asked Mongo, well, what is this about? And so he gave me the path to find out names and contacts and such. And then I think the following week I was volunteering at the Arts Festival, and this gal comes walking by with the Iowa Pride Ensemble t-shirt. So that's how I connected with Rachel and arranged for this little performance this morning, and learned about, they do have ensembles, quartets, quintets, and other things. So anyway, isn't it interesting how things connect in Des Moines? I mean, that was like really random items. And thank you again, Rachel. I brought my checkbook, so. Also, I want to thank Wade for those amazing profiles of the was it 23 students? I mean, that is good reading. And if you grew up in Iowa and know a lot about small towns, it's really kind of gives you goosebumps to read about what your scholarship kids have done. So, well, anyway, so Matt McCoy would know that you don't always get to choose what issues that the residents put on your doorstep or are really interested in. And so I got to thinking about this, that we city council members have a terrible hand for 5-card poker. So this is what we've been handed. And I think these are the top issues that we have. So I sort of made some playing cards using my first experience with Chat GBT. So you can see these are a little bit not crude, but affordable housing, the homeless population, DART, budget cuts. And I call this card repealing state laws. I'm not sure it's dialing the clock back or rewriting what we grew up in Iowa is not what we see now. So this is a terrible hand. And I might have a pair here with maybe affordable housing and homeless. Those are sort of related. And the budget cuts, rather draconian, and what issues that the legislature has chosen, they're for local control, except when they're not. That's almost another pair, but this is a terrible hand to draw to. So I can talk about any or all of these topics or other topics that you want to talk about. But I think we're just on the cusp of solving, hopefully solving some of the homeless issues in Des Moines. You may have read that there's a plan that the city has to establish a tiny village on the Chesterfield Community Center space that's on Maury Street. You may have never driven down this area, but it's about at East 23rd and I have to think if it's Maury. Yes, it is Maury. This site is a former city school. Then it was a community center. It was a space for the city greenhouses. And on our council agenda Monday, we're going to be voting for a letter of intent with the Metropolitan Reclamation Authority, the WRA, to expand that area from 5 acres to about 11 acres that we would lease to Joppa to establish a tiny village. And we, in the paper this last week, you may have read that Polk County supervisors have given 1.5 million, Matt, for the toward this project to establish. These are small footprint homes, about in the range of 300 square feet. And Matt and I and Linda Westergaard and a few other people went to Austin, Texas in 2022 to take a look at their model, which the Des Moines is based on. So the first phase would be to get, I think, 24 homes. I'd be getting 24 people off the street. And so I think that's a great step. It doesn't solve homelessness, but it's a terrific first step. And I can tell you more about the Austin model if you're interested and we have time. So I think this is a great collaborative effort. You know, it does take the whole community to make this work. And it's not just a Des Moines issue, it's Urbandale and West Des Moines also have homeless people. So I can talk more about that if you want. Affordable housing. It's kind of a difficult term. You know, what the hell is affordable? I think we need a lot of different priced homes, but to get people in their first home is a huge challenge. And the root of the issue is that the pay in Des Moines is under what it is for a lot of other communities. You know, it costs just as much to build a new home or new apartments in Des Moines as it does in the Twin Cities. But we pay less here in Des Moines. So just give you an example of way on the east edge of Des Moines, there's a Habitat for Humanity project. I think 15 homes on, it's called Carter Court. Just right on the east edge of Des Moines. And so I think 10 of the homes are already occupied. I met with a couple and their two daughters. They're going to be moving in November. They have a few more hours, sweat equity hours to do before they can move in. But so this couple and their daughters have lived for 12 years in a trailer home, about 500 square feet on the south side. The husband drives from, I'll say, the South Ridge area to Bondurant to work at Amazon. And I think the good news about this home, it's just under 1,200 square feet, is that it's located pretty close to where he works. So he's going to cut his transportation time down from 30 minutes to about 10 minutes. So this is what some people would call a starter home. It's just under 1,200 square feet on a slab, 1-car garage. So Habitat says this house would list for $268,000. I mean, it almost takes your breath away, doesn't it? Like that's an intro home. You have to have $41,000 to qualify to be in the program with Habitat, which they do financial education and such. And I think this family makes $44,000. So they're going to be on a tight budget. But imagine living 12 years in a mobile home with kids. So they're pretty excited about it. 3 bedrooms. I mean, this will be heaven for them. So yeah, we need a lot more homes, and there's a big gap between what the cost of building a home. The mortgage for this couple will be about $170,000. So that gap is what grants and volunteer time and volunteer materials makes up. But so plenty of new housing going up in downtown Des Moines right now. There's actually another let's see, right around the corner from the Saddle, Nelson is starting to lease up apartments there. I think that's a 5-story building, and Heart of America is building another, I think it's 100 units where the Iowa Barber College used to be. So, all right. So there's 2 of my cards. DART. So let's see. DART's Reimagined DART was just released this last this is Friday. So let's see, was I think Wednesday. So the plan that now it's going to take the entire region to approve this plan, but it's going to be the routes will be scaled back somewhat, but the path that we're on is better service on some of the prime routes. Also on those routes, fewer stops. Now that's good news for motorists because you're not having to get behind a bus and make a stop every block. That means that DART riders may have to walk 2 or 3 blocks to get to their stop. So it's not a done deal. You may have read that the Des Moines City Council voted for a franchise fee of 2.5% on electric and gas bills. That would be for everyone in the community, for companies and nonprofits. That will partially fund what the city's obligations are on DART. And I think I think this will happen. Right now, the governance of DART, every community has 1 vote on the board. And so there aren't too many boards that are established that way. They're normally weighted by the size of the community, but I don't think it's working well. Whether we can make that change or not is, well, that's another unknown. So, all right. So let's see, that's 3 cards down. The legislature has changed some of the taxation laws, I guess, is probably the easiest way to describe this, that we had to make a $17 million cut in our budget for the current fiscal year that we're in. There's a lot of unknowns. There's rumblings that there'll be more cuts ahead for cities and counties. So I think the city's position will be try to encourage the legislators to think about how we can combine resources among counties to save some money that way, rather than just whacking away at our budgets. So there's quite a few things that didn't get funded for this current year. I mean, I've got a tiny pet project that vandals, wire theft, stole the wiring from the 5th Street Bridge. You may know it as the Green Bridge or the Jackson Street Bridge. So that was in July of 2024, and it's $100,000 to replace the wiring, the lights that they broke, and move the wiring up higher. But so we don't have the money to, the money's not in the budget to do that project. So there's projects of all sizes that didn't get funded. So, okay, last card. Other things that the legislature is doing And I don't have to tell this audience that it's a real hack job. So I don't know how to change that. Certainly open for ideas, but I think some of the changes are that rural legislators have made. I don't think they realize it's hurting their communities also. And it's hurting people that choose to stay in Des Moines or the state of Iowa. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions, and I'd be sure happy to if someone would give me some new cards. Yes, Gary. The city council and the board of supervisors deal with more problems directly, I think, than the national and state legislative agencies. And so simple things like what's going on with the we talked about affordable housing and mobile home. What's going on with this little community off of East 14? It's a whole mobile home, what is it, 20 or so mobile homes that all of a sudden are being said, you're going to have to move because we're going to cut off your water, because the equity company or the out-of-state company has a place of those. This poor how does the city maneuver and work with this type of problems? Now, there are some challenging mobile home parks in Des Moines, and there are some good outcomes. I was just at the ribbon cutting for what was a mobile home park at Park in Indianola. And if you drive by there, you're going to see some incredible apartments, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments there. And I can't even imagine, it's hard to remember how pathetic those homes were. I know this is right. Well, that is hard. I mean, well, let's go back to the one that's been in the news right now. This is on East 14th and Glenwood. I think it's called Glenwood Estates. Kind of a misnomer to call it estates, but so they've had 2 homes that have burned to the ground in the last month, and so it's in addition to the $57,000 behind in paying the water bill. Going back to the family that's going into a habitat home, there's some rigid rules on those properties. When this couple moves, they cannot sell their own mobile home. They have to sell it back to the property owner. They get ticketed or towed if they're on any grass. There's some roads that go back in there, and if they're off as much as 6 inches, they get towed. And so there's rules that we, the city, can't really enforce on this private property. So it goes back to part of the issue, out-of-state people and not taking care of their property. The new homes at Park and Indianola, the apartments that replaced, I think they spent about a year relocating the people from that. And that was a good cooperation with Polk County to find them new places to live. But so it goes back to the issue of how much people are paid. And that's the real root issue. So yeah, I don't, I'll be happy to listen to ideas of how we can um, navigate through those challenges. So. Difficult issues that city council people have about this. You know, I will tell you just a quick story that it's unusual for a city and a county to work together closely. And some of the people that have come in to look at the Invest DSM projects that we have in Des Moines, just quick comment from Springfield, Missouri came, and they wondered how this is doing so well for Des Moines after it's just 5 years young. So they said, well, Amber Lynch, who was the executive director at the time, says, well, this is a partnership between the city of Des Moines and Polk County, and we each put in $5 million. And they said, we don't do anything with our county. So imagine what wouldn't be happening in Des Moines without good cooperation between the county and the city. I mean, it just makes a lot of things work so well. And that's, a lot of things get done in Des Moines because the public entities and the private entities get together and see something that they want, whether it's a skateboard park or housing initiatives, just a full range of things. So it's all about being part of the community. So yes. Yeah. So yeah. So Grimes has already left, or I'm sorry, they have to signal their intentions 18 months in advance, which is not a lot of time when you think about a budget for a big organization. Grimes has left. However, they wanted to keep paratransit. Kind of like, hey, this is not a cafeteria. You can't just choose. Pleasant Hill has also signaled their intentions to leave. I'm not sure what the reimagined DART plan, if this will, if elected officials in some of the suburban communities will decide to leave. The city of Des Moines has had a hard time convincing some of our suburban officials that you may not have a lot of residents that use the bus to get downtown, but a lot of Des Moines people use the bus to get to jobs at Jordan Creek, at Merle Hay Mall, at one of the busiest DART stops is outside of Walmart and Sam's Club in Windsor Heights. And the employees that are walking about 5 blocks to go to Briggs and Company, which is on University. So Windsor Heights gets it. But the other wacky thing about the DART support is that the communities can choose what taxing levy that they want to support DART with. Unlike Broadlawns, everyone pays the same. DART is by choice how much they choose to support. So the feeling that I get is that, well, we don't have that many residents that ride the bus. So we don't see a reason to support DART. I think a regional transit system is so important for any community to survive and thrive. But You know, it's easy. It's easy to get in your car and just drive the 20 minutes downtown and yeah. So hopefully some of these routes that have bus service every 15 minutes will encourage more people to use the bus. So yeah, Rick.
A lot of work at the Mickle Center right next door.
Yes.
One of the latest groups that's joined that building is Afghan refugees. I am always concerned that someday I'm going to arrive and there will be ICE agents there, or I will have to deal with them in some way. Is there any contingency within the city or the police department here that's going to give us some guidance in what we should be doing with ICE agents if they should come to Des Moines? Maybe they're already here.
Oh, well, you know, I thought that there was a ICE vehicle in the East Village. Well, what I saw was, I think it was Bud Ice. They had the big ice on it. But anyway, so, well, so the Des Moines Police Department is not, they have plenty to do without assisting in ICE. So I don't know if that's comforting at all, but there are a lot of groups that are at the Mickle Center, and I serve on that board, as you know, Rick. So I'm not sure how to answer your question. So you're concerned that other people that have office space in the Mickle Center just worried about, and you don't want to let them in on your pass code, right? Please don't. Yeah, or let them sneak in behind you. Close the door quickly. Well, there's plenty of anxiety in the immigrant community, and let's see, got to think of the group that they have office space in the United Way. I think that Justice for All. I'm not getting the acronym. They just changed their name recently, but I think. Pardon? They represent immigrants with legal issues, and I think all of the council members have now met with them that there's a lot of anxiety within the faith community where, I mean, there are several parishes that are heavily immigrant based, and probably a current that's not experienced by the people in this room. So, you know, I wish that instead of hauling off the employees at some of these companies, that they would haul off the owners, because they're the people that hired them. They advertise that we need workers. And so like, well, hello, what's the root of this problem? So, okay. Okay. Yeah.
I talked with the mayor, and she was going to go talk to the governor. When the state buys, they bought a huge office complex at 63rd and Park. I believe they might own the one on Fleur and Thomas Beck. They screw with our tax base and how we can tax. Then they buy property and take it off the tax roll. When they're sitting on property at Capitol Hill, you know, if she's talked to them and if we've got anywhere with them to quit double bumping.
Well, I know there has been a conversation that when the Wallace State Office building comes down, so that's the one with the glass mirrored surfaces. So would you carve that out of the state complex, and so we could get a building there that would be on the tax rolls? So, I mean, it would make some sense. Yeah, well, good luck on that. So years ago, I was on the Capital Planning Commission, which I think has been merged into some other agency now. But there were plans to put buildings on the, let's see, on the north side of Grand Avenue. But that went by the wayside for buying buildings, away from the campus. That's not really efficient. And oh, Deb's giving me a sign here. So I just happen to have some petitions for signatures for Des Moines residents. There's a school bond issue that will be on the ballot November 4th. If you haven't already signed the petition and you're a Des Moines resident, this does not mean you have to vote for this issue, but so this is a $250 million bond issue that to improve our schools, because I don't think the state is going to do it. So we're going to have to do it ourselves. So anyway, thanks.
Pull up find where I am. Okay. Wow. Thank you, Carl. Your dedication to our community is truly exceptional. And people don't realize, my gosh, he's involved in so many organizations. So that's truly dedication. Affordable housing, budget cuts, homeless, DART. It seems we just have a lot of things that we're dealing with. Living downtown near the homeless shelter, I see so many homeless people, and it just seems a good number of them, not all of them, have mental health issues. What do? We cut mental health. Yeah, well, that's not the way you help. I was listening to a podcast about the policy of cutting taxes and not decreasing spending, which balloons the deficits and gives wealth to those who already have wealth. This pushes the cost of future generations. Many younger people have given up on home ownership until they inherit money. There is actually will be a great wealth transfer, but that's not a good way to drive a successful economy. You have to wait to have a family or have a house until your parents die. Why? How old are you then? Jeez. And also public transit. Some may say, well, I don't use public transit. Why do I want to pay for it? There are studies that prove the value of public transit to a thriving community. It is important, and you just have to understand the issues of people that actually do use it, and it helps drive employment in many cases. So